Rona Mackay, followed by Alison Johnson.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I'd like to start my contribution to the debate today on a happy note. Two close friends of mine who are in a same-sex marriage have just gone through the adoption process and are hoping to welcome their new arrival to their home within the next few months. Everyone who knows them are in no doubt that they will make fabulous parents and their child will grow up in a household of love and safety. In my view, this indicates two things. Firstly, that we've moved on vastly as a society from the days when it was thought that only the traditional nuclear family model would work as a framework for adoption or permanence. Secondly, the single most important thing is that children are brought up in a safe, happy and loving home with parents who nurture them and give them the tools to be well-rounded, decent adults. Presiding Officer, like everyone in the debate today, I welcome the first ever Adoption Week Scotland, which is taking place this week. The Scottish Government's aim is for Scotland to be the best place in the world for children to grow up, regardless of their background or what circumstances they're born into. Make no mistake, the ideal place for children to grow up is at home with their natural parents. But as we all know, for many children and for many different reasons, this is not always possible. One of the saddest things I experienced during my years as a children's panel member was witnessing a mother with an addiction problem read out a letter of thanks to her toddler son's foster mother who was sitting next to her. With tears streaming down her face, she spoke of her gratitude that someone had offered her little boy the chance of a better life, a life she knew she could not give him. Everyone in the room could see that that child was thriving due to being nurtured in a family home. That's why it's vital that there are effective, confident professionals who can support children into alternative care placements, whether through adoption or a permanence order. As the Minister outlined, more than 300 families have now adopted children through Scotland's adoption register, but sadly there are more than twice as many children on the register needing a family than prospective adopters offering one. This month, Scotland's adoption register has moved to an online system, which gives adopters and social workers direct involvement faster, and it will reduce delays and find the best possible matches between children and families. Presiding Officer, deciding to adopt is a life-changing event and is never a decision taken lightly. It can be a long and sometimes stressful process for prospective adopters who are put through rigorous checks and stringent suitability tests. This is simply because we have to get it right for every child, and the Scottish Government is constantly striving to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the Adoption and Permanence Order process, including the introduction of adopter-led matching this year, as has been previously mentioned. We're providing hands-on expert support to local authorities to help children achieve permanence through the Permanence and Care Excellent programme known as PACE. It brings local authority agencies and professionals, the children's hearing system and health services together to improve and speed up processes. Presiding Officer, the agency Scottish Adoption has this year been awarded top marks across the board by the Care Inspectorate. And this is just one of the many valued agencies and volunteers supporting people through the adoption process. I think a fitting way to conclude would be to listen to the experience of one adoptive parent who said, "With the support of Scottish Adoption, we've been able to parent one child therapeutically to help him develop from an anxious, frightened child to a loving, caring, funny and charming young man. He's still only very young, but thanks to the support we have received, we now realise that we, as parents, have what it takes to support him on his journey to greatness." Adoption has been far more challenging than we could ever have realised when sitting in the room at that first information meeting, but by far it's the best thing that we could ever have done in our lives. Presiding Officer, this is proof, if it were ever needed, that the rewards outweigh any challenges and that loving and nurturing a child, whether biological or not, is beyond compare. I'm happy to support this motion and the Labour amendment.
Alison Johnson, followed by Tavish Scott.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. I too will be supporting both the Government's motion